So, donc, like every society, like every religion organization, okay, they have certain rules and regulations to be followed, right? Donc, the sangha as well has got certain rules and regulations, which we are going to see. Now, these regulations are to be observed or to be followed by the monks, right? Those who initiate to become a monk, a Buddhist monk rather, okay? So the sangha means togetherness, right? To be together. Donc, it is a society formed by Gautam Buddha himself so that people can join in, and then they can follow his teachings, practice his teachings, and then this path will lead him, the person, to nirvana, to moksha, right? So Buddha, at the age of 35, he already got enlightenment, okay? His first disciples were the 5 hermits he once met. When he decided to renounce, he went in the forest. He first met 5 hermits and he started doing meditation with them, in which he was not successful. So these 5 hermits were his very first disciples. After getting nirvana, he went in search of these 5 persons and gave them his messages, his teachings, and together they spread, okay, in various directions. They went to people, they reached the mass, and then they educated the mass. They taught the mass or people the teachings of Buddha. And within 3 months, they reached 60 followers, which is indeed a great task, having 60 followers at that time in just 3 months. Many of them, the followers, were kings. You will see in history of India, many kings, they became Buddhist monks, right? So his missionary activities spread over 45 years, right? Then he died at the age of 80. That too, he ate mushroom curry. He was allergic with mushroom. After eating that, he died, which we call the parinirvana, right? So he formed the sangha, as we were saying, right? The sangha got much royal support, because as I told you, many kings were princes and kings were part of the sangha. So they were getting royal support also in terms of food, clothes, or the basic needs which the monks needed, right? So in terms of food, clothing, and shelter. Buddha built many monasteries for these people, for these monks. Bien sûr, together with the help of kings, royal support, he built monasteries. If you compare this to what in Hinduism, what we learn, there weren't monasteries. If you go in India today, the monasteries are well-built, concrete one, right? Well-built, having not all, but quite much facilities, many facilities are provided. But what we know as the Gurukul, it was not like that, okay? So everyone was welcome, okay? Everyone was welcome in the Sangha, irrespective of your caste, color, whatever. Yes, women were not accepted initially in the Sangha, but later women form part of the sangha. Okay. So we will see the different rules of the sangha. First of all, to seek admission in the sangha, you need to be 15 years above 15 years. And that too, you need to join with the permission of your parents. If you compare this to the Gurukul system, the child, at the very age of 7 or 8, he enters the Gurukul. But Buddha said, we need the child to be quite mature, okay, to be mature enough that he can at least understand things, what's going around. Then he should get admission with the permission of parents. The person needs to be free from certain diseases. Let's say, for example, if someone is physically challenged, what we call handicap, it will be difficult for the person. Okay. It's not that he can't be a Buddhist, he can't meditate. Of course he can, but becoming a real monk will be difficult for him. Like he will have to travel from place to place. That will be difficult, but he can definitely be initiated and become a simple Buddhist, not like the monk one who travel, who become wanderers, right? He must not be in the service of the king. Like, the king has many ministers to serve. He must not be there in the service of the king. And he must be free from all debt. Like if you have taken a loan, you can't enter the sangha until you pay your debt. Because once you enter the sangha, you're not going to earn as such. Okay. Well, at that time, it was quite different. If we try to apply this today, normally today in this modern world, everyone need a job, everyone need to have certain income. Okay. But yes, we have monasteries today. Most of the monasteries are being run on donations, right? They receive money and all. And also from external support from government and all, right? So I continue. The person, when he enters the sangha, he needs to wear a yellow robe, having, the sign of being a sannyasi, a monk, a yellow robe. He needs to shave his head and to carry a bowl with him because he's going to beg for food, and to choose a teacher. He can choose his own teacher. Even in Hinduism, you have the right to choose your own teacher. Then the teacher will take you to a panel of monks, right? And then they will decide there if they are going to take you or not. If you have any kind of physical disability, they will question you. If there's any problem, they are not going to take you. Then later on, you can come again and get admission. So if there is no objection, you will be initiated in the sangha. So when you are being initiated in the sangha, you need to recite this declaration. You have to take the vow. I told you previously, the aspirant has to recite it 3 times. It is a vow taken. That is the only initiation to do. Unlike Hinduism. In Hinduism, Kaunawal and Gurukul, you have to do the Janev ceremony, doing rituals, but here, no. Buddha was against those quite unnecessary, into inverted comma, rituals. Okay, no rituals are so unnecessary, but at a certain point of time, we need to be practical, right? So we have to recite this Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami, and Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. I take refuge in Buddha, in Dhamma. Dhamma can be the Dhammapada, the scripture of the Buddhist, Ubya Dharma as well, and the Sangha. So I take refuge in these 3. I have to repeat these 3 times, and then I become a Buddhist monk. Okay, so it's a promise being made towards Buddha, towards Dharma, towards the Sangha, and I have to abide by my promise, right? So once Buddha himself, initially, he was getting people admitted in the Sangha just by saying, Ehi Bhikkhu. Ehi Bhikkhu means come, O monk. Just after he recited the 3 vows, Buddha will just say Ehi Bhikkhu, that is a kind of welcoming the person in the Sangha. But then gradually what happened, the number of followers multiplied. Then Buddha sent 60 disciples in different directions to preach his gospel without delegating to them the authority to conversion. The only one having the authority to take them, to accept them, or to convert them into a Buddhist monk was Buddha. Only he was doing that. But then later, there were many inconveniences, right? Sorry. And then Buddha had to entrust this power of conversion to other monks also. How come inconveniences? Because there were many people from many directions, from many parts of India, of Nepal and all. So Buddha can't go everywhere. So he had to delegate his monks, his followers to do the job. Now, the one who gets admission in the Sangha need to follow these 10 rules obligatoire. First, abstention from killing. We should not kill. We should not steal. We should not do adultery. Normally, when we become a monk, we are not married, okay? Because you can't get married and then become a monk. There are 2 contradictory roles which you have to play. So when we become a monk, we should not do adultery, we should not speak lie, we should not take intoxicants, we should not take afternoon meals, we should not participate in music, dance, and drama because it creates excitement, kind of. And we should not use flowers, scents, cosmetics, ornaments. We should not sleep on soft beds, and we should not accept gold and silver from people. Only accept food from people or clothes, right? So these 10 principles should be followed by all the Buddhist monks. Monastery order for women. Initially, Buddha was reluctant to include women in the Sangha. But then on the request of his second mother, Mahaprajapati Gautami, his foster mother, and Anand, who was his favorite disciple, both of them, they tried to convince Buddha to get women admitted in the Sangha. Then Buddha said, okay, we can get them admitted. Donc some special rules relate to movements, residence, and supervision of the nuns are prescribed in the Bhikkhuni. Bhikkhu normalement means the monk. Bhikkhuni is the female monk. Patimokha. This is the scripture actually. Could in Ekriya Bana special rules for women, right? Like, for example, certain restrictions of movement for them. Women can't go keep on wandering alone, right? For safety purposes, right? But Buddha also warned that if women had not received the consent to enter the order, the religion is Pluto the Sangha, it's not religion in that sense, would have lasted for 1,000 years. But since women have been allowed, it will last only for 500 years. Problems will come, of course, will come. Dress and food. The monk should wear 3 pieces of clothes normally. the upper, middle, and lower garments. Bien sûr, nous disons wear the yellow robe, no other kind of clothes. The robe should be usually yellow. Okay, it signifies renunciation. And usually all the robes offered belong to the Buddhist sangha. So the sangha actually keep it on the person, right? A monk was allowed to keep a begging bowl, a razor for shaving, an umbrella, of course, because of the sun, because of the rain, and books to read as well. Now, the Buddhist monks had to depend on alms for their meals. They begged. They were allowed to accept invitation from followers. If ever someone want to invite them for food, they can go, they can accept, but they should not show their desire for any kind of special food that they want to eat, right? And Buddha said that he gave his consent for medical science, right? He was quite liberal in thinking. Donc, broad-minded ou plutôt liberal. Donc, he accepted medical science also. If someone is sick, he can go to a doctor and have medicines like chemical one, I'm saying. He can go for it. Another rule stated the fortnight confessional meeting. We have to confess. Why do we need to confess? Because anytime, anyone at any place can violate any rule of the sangha. It's normal because even the monks, they are human, and that are wanderers. They can wander from place to place. It may happen that something wrong happened in their mind, they thought of something wrong, or they have even done something wrong. It's very much normal. Usually, quand un monk fait quelque chose mauvais, we always try to downgrade the monk. Usually, c'est ça l'idée qui nous a, mindset qui nous a in general. But we tend to forget what are the good things the person has done also. It's very normal that even a monk can get, let's say, attracted to a beautiful lady. Okay, because he has been created by the Supreme with the natural urges, sexual, sensual urges, right? Yes, it's true that they do meditation, they learn to control the senses and desires, but after all, they are human beings with all the natural urges in them. So they have to meet and then they have to confess if ever they have violated any rule. And if ever they will be in the assembly, if ever it was a major crime, a serious crime, and if they will be found guilty, they will be punished for that. Okay. Plus grand punishment qu'un monk can gagner, c'est he will be thrown out from the Buddhist monk, from the Buddhist monk sangha. He will be thrown out. Bon, thrown out, pas veut dire délaissé net, non. But he won't be a member of the sangha. But now, if he wants to be again a member, he can do that. Okay. It's not like si un démon fait quelque chose de mauvais and as for Buddha, we should not reject that person. I'll tell you something. Today I was watching something about Salman Khan being, you know, there are many cases on Salman Khan going in the court. I'm not sure if all are solved or not. He went for hunting, which was illegal, whatever things. Sanjay Dutt went for jail, carrément, il vived in jail for many years. But yet, when they are out, these people, they have all the respect of people of society. Mais nous, when we have certain people in our neighborhood going to jail or something, when they return, what are our opinions? What is our mindset? I'm saying our, maybe it's not yours, but généralement, comme ça, the person is not accepted in society. but it should not be the case if we follow the example of Buddha. Anyone can do anything wrong. And you get punishment for that. We are not here to judge the person, right? So my point is here, Buddha, what he says, opportunities should be given to all, to everyone. If the monk committed something and then they has been thrown out because of the seriousness of the crime or the mistake, he can come again, re-enter the sangha. He will be most welcome without any judgment, right? Without any prejudice. But he will have to go to start everything again. Il recommence à zéro à ce moment-là. Il pourrait passe par learning sessions and all, right? But yet he is very much accepted again in the sangha, right? Rainy season retreat, another rule for that. In dry season, usually the monks, they are going to travel from place to place, but there will be 3 months of the year, which is the rainy season in India, and it is not easy for them to travel on foot. Therefore, they have to leave normally at a certain particular place, which is usually the monasteries. The monasteries plus près que l'été. Ou bien, if not, they can find a place where they can live, right? So they have to leave during this rainy season. They have to leave at a fixed place parce que quand la pluie tombe, it's really bad, right? And they had to depend on householders who live the nearby monasteries. They are going to feed them. It's again like begging for food, but they are not going out to beg for food because of the rainy season. Everything will be provided in the monastery. And then at the end of the rainy season, they are all going to meet and then confess their crime, which they might have committed. Parce que 3 mois se dresse en place, maybe, you know, crime committed is not only that physically with their hands they have done something. It can be verbally, it can be mentally, they thought of something wrong. They have to confess. Okay. Now, if ever they have done something and they have not confessed, well, that is also a problem. No one will know if I have done something, no one saw me, and I have not confessed. Fine, I can continue censé to be a monk, but I will have to pay for the consequences. You know, the karma concept is there. What we sow, so we reap. Okay. Now, organization of the sangha. Buddha, he did not appoint any successor to take his place. That is, if he dies, who will take his place? Nothing was decided, appointed, right? But then later, quand Buddha in get parinirvan in Kitsuleko, and then all the monks, they decided among themselves to have a panel kind of directors type, okay, who will do the work. Now, Buddha, he believed in democracy. His sangha was very democratic. Everyone in the sangha can say his opinion, his words, can tell whatever they want, whatever they're thinking at least, right? And everyone would be listened, okay, because democracy says that, where you are free to express yourself, right? So the monks in the sangha, they lived peacefully, harmoniously, happily, with mutual understanding. In a democracy, there should be mutual understanding, because everyone can voice out, and then a decision will be taken. Let's say, si Bizin prend une décision, majority what they say, if it is right, the decision will be in their favor, right? Whatever disagreement was there in opinion, everything was settled peacefully. It's not like what happens in assemblies today. Commence à administrer la guerre and all. Everything should be done peacefully, right? Now, the monasteries, actually, they were being used for the lodging of the monks. They were staying there. They were meditating. They were studying. And today, the monasteries have become great centers of learning. Of course, we have still monks living there. It's a center of learning and training for missionaries. Buddha believed in equality, liberty, and fraternity. These are the three principles of democracy, which existed in the Buddhist sangha, and apparently it still exists, right? So this is the sangha. The sangha, c'est plutôt the society, what are the rules and regulations there. You need to know them, right? So I continue with comparison, Hinduism and Buddhism. It is said that Hinduism has no founder. C'est pour ça qu'il nous appelle Sanatana Dharma. Par contre, Buddhism has a founder who is Gautam Buddha, right? Now, it's true that Buddhism is an offshoot of Hinduism. Offshoot of Hinduism means it comes from Hinduism. But initially, it was not a separate religion. In India, it is an offshoot of Hinduism. But yes, today, it is a separate or independent religion. Not considered as part of Hinduism. Okay, it's like a new religion which crop up. But yes, it has done good to people. So it's not wrong to accept it as a religion as well. But you know, the problem of Hinduism, there were many problems in the Hindu religion itself at that time, like animal sacrifices, caste system, many issues like that. Then only we had the coming of the Buddhism, right? So you'll see many differences between these two, but there are also many similarities. For example, both of them, their aim is to be liberated. And na appelé moksha, Buddhism n'est pas appelé nirvana. Their paths are different, okay? But the aim is verily the same, right? Now, Buddhism, initially it was just one Buddhism without any differences. Initially, Buddha was only a master with a great teacher. Buddha was not considered as God initially. But with time, it happened that the Buddhist Sangha got divided into the two schools of Buddhism. Il y a beaucoup l'influence de Hinduisme dedans. Qui fait, we'll see. Nous appelle premier là, c'est Hinyan. Premier division of Buddhism, c'est Hinyan, which is also known as the Theravada Buddhism. Deuxième là, c'est Mahayana. Hin with a small, Maha with a great. Hinyan and Mahayana. Now, the Hinyan one, they are the traditionalists. They consider Buddha is regarded as the enlightened one, a master, but still a man, right? The Hinyan. And this is what you are studying right now, okay? So far, we have not said that Buddha is God. So Hinyan, Lilidzeya Buddha is just a man, common man, who got nirvana, who became a great teacher. Par contre, the Mahayana school of Buddhist, deuxième section ou bien catégorie de bouddhisme, les dire Buddha is the Lord incarnated, is God himself. Okay, so this Hinduism had a great impact on here. Parce que in Hinduism, we consider Buddha to be the 9th incarnation of Vishnu. 9e incarnation de Vishnu, c'est Gautam Buddha. This is what Hinduism believes in. Okay. Well, the point here is Hinyan and Mahayan. Hinyan says Buddha is just a man, but a teacher. And Mahayan says that Buddha is God. C'est pour ça de nos jours we have statues of God, of Buddha, right? Which they worship as well. Now, let's see their similarities and differences. The concept of God. The Buddhism you are studying, we are not talking about God. Parce que Hinyan says that, ou bien appelé the Theravada Buddhism, says that Buddha is not God. Buddha is just a man who got enlightenment, who became a master, right? Don't forget that. Par contre, Hinduism believes in God. And you have all the scriptures in Hinduism, they will tell you God exists. Buddha did not deny that God exists, but Buddha always say that we should not get into such matters. Tous les temps quand disciples will ask him questions about God, about the soul, Buddha, tous les temps, il reste tranquille. Okay. Because all those things were not important for Buddha. What was important, c'était to be practical, to imbibe virtues. Practically speaking, Buddhism can verily be practiced in this modern age, in this Kali Yuga, compared to Hinduism. So let's continue the concept of Buddha. For example, in the Chandogya Upanishad, you have Uddalaka Aruni, who explained to his son Swetketu that God is not invisible only, but he really exists. Nous prend example of the seed. If you take a seed, you break the seed, there's nothing inside. Okay. Nous prend un seed, nous casse seed là, you will see there's nothing inside. But the same seed, if you plant it, plantly, it will grow into a tree, right? But there was nothing inside the seed. That nothing dans sa seed qui est nana, that nothingness, as per Hinduism, it is God in an invisible form. Parce que il y a l'énergie dans lui, which makes the seed to sprout and to grow into a tree. Okay. So in the Vedic literature, in the Nasadya Sukta, God has been referred as Tad Ekam, that one. In Hinduism, we believe that God is either Nirgun or Sagun. Nirgun with pena form, meaning like the Arya Samajist, they consider God being formless. Par contre, other people, they consider God having a form, Sagun God, in the form of Krishna, Durga, etc. Okay, but all these are accepted within Hinduism, because Hinduism is liberal again. Even an atheist is part of the Hinduism, right? So Hinduism believes that God is eternal, omnipresent, omniscient, the creator, the preserver, the destroyer. We had incarnations as well. Hinduism believes in incarnations as well, right? Hinduism believes in many forms of gods and goddesses, whereas Jainism does not accept the existence of God. But when Buddha had to express his view on the ultimate reality, he preferred silence, as I told you earlier. neither he spoke positively or negatively about God. You know, no religion can deny the existence of a God as a supreme power. But like Buddha, it's not necessary to know these things. Okay. Well, we know there's a supreme one. Everyone knows that. Everyone will tell you there's a supreme, a divinity, a force, and energy somewhere. If I learn about the soul is this and that. Almost nowhere. Why I say almost nowhere? Because how will this knowledge give you liberation? What will give me liberation if I become a good person? I try to imbibe certain virtues, values, ki Buddha India, Hinduism India, blah, blah. And so if I imbibe all of them, then I will become a good person. Then I will be able to control my senses, my mind. Then I'll be able to get liberation. Right. Can you please join again?